Hello guys, how are you? I'm on the last day of having a few days off. First few days, bit of camping, bit of getting back to nature, getting back to the wild. First few days, very, very rural, completely off the beaten track. So much so that sheep were getting in the way of me driving. Although, what's new there, eh? Just a few days off, because I don't mind telling you, I can't remember the last time that I spent time without the internet, because starting off it was so rural. The network went down, all the G's went down. Not a bad thing, eh? All the G's went down. The internet was pretty much non-existent. And it was different actually, because ever since having a smartphone, don't remember the last time I didn't have some form of access to the internet. So that's how the first few days went. And what did I get from that? Interesting. I'll tell you what, the biggest take over these past few days, is the difference between living in the reality, whatever you want to define that as, in regards to the online world, and just being separated from it and having no internet, no connection, and just really going back to nature. And if you wanted a gauge, you know, because I often say, you know, get back to nature quite frequently and, you know, spend time in nature, because that's the gauge, you know. The gauge between, if you want the gauge between what you might define as insanity and sanity. Insanity is, I don't know what that is. I think it's some type of animal. Or heathen shouting. That's the gauge right there between what you might define as sanity and insanity. That world that they want you living in, that online world, where it literally is becoming more and more moronic and insane by the day. The narrative, the story that they want you to live by, just that world is just, and coming out of it and spending time away from it, and spending these days away from it, because it wasn't planned having no internet whatsoever. That wasn't planned at all. And I'm grateful that there was that bit of time there. I mean, look, I got a bit bored, and I'm used to being able to have a bit of access to, you know, there's the convenience and all of that side of things, and watching a bit of internet or YouTube, whatever, in the evening as well. So you got all that convenience, and as I've always said, it's not all bad, you know. It's not all like hippie, let's go, no TV, no technology, no internet. But it's the world that it's becoming. It's that online world that is truly, truly nothing short of insane. It really is nothing short of insane. And coming away from it, it just makes you really, really appreciate just how friggin' insane it is. Just how crackers it's getting out there. How that narrative, how that moronic behaviour, how that just stupidness, when you're just so in it, how it can easily permeate and just become what you might define as the norm, when it is nothing of the sort. It is nothing. There's nothing normal about it. And that's the gauge right there. Sanity and sanity. Getting back to nature. You know, spending time with trees and, I don't know, just freaking nature, I suppose. Just getting back to basics a little bit. Also, what kind of describe it as coming away from that online insane world. And, you know, the balance that I'm going to strike a little bit, will certainly endeavour to do after this break. The bit of balance that I'm going to try and take away from all of this is to just try and balance it out a little bit more, actually, because I do try and spend time away from the internet and get back to nature and stuff like that. But these past few days of doing it entirely, it's really made me appreciate that I need to do it a little bit more often. And chances are maybe you do too, because that online world, it's crackers. Whereas these beauties, they're just beautiful. They just are. That's nature for you, isn't it? Eh? Have a great day. See you soon. Ta-ta.